Hello everyone, today I'm working on this General Electric B23-7. It says U33 on the box, but really it is B23-7, so I don't know what happened there. It's got a really neat custom paint for Frisco. That is really cool. This was sent to me by a subscriber. I'm not going to be able to fix every train, but if the project interests me, my email is on my website, watchtrainsnow.com, and drop me a line. I'll let you know if I'm interested in it. You have to pay shipping both ways, for sure, and you'll have to pay for any part. But for this person, I guess he's my customer now. For this customer, that arrangement was good, so I'm gonna completely repair that for him. So the problem with this unit was that it runs pretty good light, but when you put freight cars behind it, the motor spins freely and the engine doesn't move. So let's go test it out. So let's see what happens when I put power to it. I got my Frisco cabooses. I don't use them very often. So yeah, it runs pretty good. I get to use my Frisco cabooses with this project. Super, let's add some freight cars and see. I'm pulling 13 freight cars, 14 with the caboose, and it's doing fine. Maybe the problem was reversing, so let's try that. Still running pretty good. It's a little noisy, but outside of being dirty, it runs fine. So I added 3 more freight cars, and now it's spinning. There's nothing wrong inside. It just doesn't have enough weight to pull the rest of the freight cars. So it's running good. It's just spinning. So that's what the issue was, I think. I really am trying to fix my sound. I played with a few settings. Tell me if that helped. Put that down in the comments below. So this was a B23-7. So I don't know what happened to the box and who wrote U30C. I guess it doesn't matter too much. I'm going to use the box just to remove the shell. So I think that was the issue. It was just spinning. This is a nice custom paint. The only thing maybe that's bad about it is to use the Bachmann horn, but it's mostly very nice. So here you go, a nice DCC compatible frame. Everything looks to be good. Now I am still going to clean it, may as well, and yeah, looks real good. So just pull this stuff out. And it was nice and quiet, so we'll keep the order that the trucks were in. Everything looks good there. I'm going to get my good screwdriver. So that is pretty easy to clean these. It's a nice split frame. The most time you should invest on these really is on the wheels and the trucks. It doesn't look overly dirty, doesn't look over lubricated. Just make sure I got enough turns on this. And then you just pry the side of the frame, give it enough slack to remove the trucks. And then I'll keep the order. Same with the front one. Keep the order. My fingers are getting a little dirty, so there's definitely some cleaning to do. I'm going to completely remove the frame at this point. Keep these around. At the same time, I'm checking to make sure that there's nothing missing. And the frame is held together by these four little tabs. So these, I work them just very carefully until they release. This is not a race. Here we go. So that definitely, I'm definitely gonna wash the frame halves because I find they're a little gummy. The circuit board, that I won't wash. But you can see the two tabs have to line up with these two tabs from the motor. But no, it ran fine. And the worm gears, although they have a lot of grease, like a lot, I'm not gonna change anything. They need a little grease to function. So that's good. I'm not changing that. Same with the motor. I will not wash the motor. So there's a white magnet here. That white magnet goes back exactly on that side. Although it's tough to screw it up because these have to be on top. So I don't think you can screw it up. The contact strips, if they fall out, they fall out. If they stay there, they stay there. There's no stress concerning that. So the circuit board I won't wash. The motor I won't wash. The contact strips, they can take a little water. That's alright. I only have this little tab here holding me. There we go. So yeah, the motor is pretty hard to mess it up. It was like that. You can't put it like that because there's no space here. So it won't go like that, and it won't go like that. There's no space for it, and it won't go like that. So the only way you can put it is like that, so you can't mess it up really. So that, it does look a little dirty on the frames. So I'm gonna wash the frames with my toothbrush and some dish soap. But before I do, I actually do take out the excess grease with that. So let me know in the comments below if my sound's a little better. It can't get any worse than the last video, that's for sure. What a wonderful job just a little bit of soap and water does. Makes a really big difference. So the contact strips, I just wipe them with my finger like that. I give them a little angle, but it doesn't have to be extreme, just a little bit. And then this one too, we'll give it just a little angle. But it doesn't have to be extreme. This little guy ran fine before, so I also washed the shell since I was in the neighborhood. So this shell got quite a bit of work done to it. But I think a very nice paint. When I put it back together, I'll make sure to put the handrails where they should be. So this is what you should spend the most time on. It's on the power trucks. So these will make sure they're squeaky clean. Yeah, look at that. As they did the custom painting, they painted the little bearings, they painted them black. Did a very nice job. This is a good little engine. There's your gearbox. Everything seems to go good. Now this gearbox got lubricated. I don't lubricate them, so what I'm going to do for this engine, I'm just going to wash it. I'm not going to add any lubrication. Make sure there's nothing in there. Maybe sometimes they collect lint, so we'll make sure that there's nothing in there. That looks pretty good. And then sometimes lint collects around these, but these I'm pretty sure they look clean. That looks pretty clean. So that's that. I will wash the wheels though. I do them twice. Once with my rag and once with the toothbrush and some dish soap. There. You can tell this engine's got a few miles on it because the top of the wheel is cleaner than the side. Usually I like to have a little slack on the top here. So I'm gonna wash them and then we'll check the gauge on them. But I've seen engines that were a lot worse than this. This is okay. It's just since I have it apart, may as well super tune it. So I washed everything. Look at the detail on these side frames. So now I'm gonna re-gap the wheels. I like to have the slack only on this side. I like to have the gear side very close to where it's supposed to go, and then these I'll make them so they have a little slack but not a lot, because I like them to be tight. Maybe I'll give it just a little bit more. Yeah, that's too much. I like to have them in but not too much in, because I like them to ride on the track where they still have a little slack. They're wider than the real train wheels would be, so they can do a little bit of back and forth like that. That helps them go over curves, especially if you got tight curves. So that one's done. You see how the gears still line up properly. That's why I put all the slack on this side. Then we'll do the same thing to this one. I can do it approximately and then find my gauge and see where we're at. Just a little bit more in I need. There. Perfect. And that goes over here. And then these have two little pins where they ride. They ride on those two little pins. And make sure you got the axles in their little bearings. And this again is not a race, so you want to take your time to line everything up. There, make sure that that feels good. Doesn't feel too good actually. So when that happens, you just redo it. This is the time to check everything. Yeah, that looks good. There, now it feels good. I'm gonna bring in the side frames. This is the reason why I do them one at a time, because I don't want to lose the orientation. So check them with your finger, make sure there's no interference whatsoever, and then you can move on to the other side, which I'll do off camera. So at this point I tested on the bench. I'm at the lowest setting on my power pack, so that runs amazing. Now I'm ready to put everything back together. So don't forget your light board, that, line up the two taps properly. If you want to convert this to DCC, it's very easy. There's some drop-in boards for this. Super easy to do. I convert them to DCC and sound, so that requires a little bit of milling of the frame. Nothing crazy, but still has to be done. And then haven't put my screws in yet, but it's got enough pressure to hold the two trucks in place. Check all your contacts. These things here, make sure they're sitting properly on their pin. But that looks good. We'll put in the fuel tank. The guy that did the paint job put a little bit of extra detail on them. Painted the oh, I put it on backward. The fuel filler neck goes towards the front. So painted the fuel filler neck and the fuel level red, and the fuel shutoff painted that red too. So that's really neat. Double checking all my contacts. Let's put the little light shield on. That is nice to have. And we'll put the two little screws. Use gravity as your friend to keep the trucks in place. Make sure that you can move them. Make sure you can move them like that. And then this one too. We'll tighten it. Don't have to be very tight, just hand tight. So at this time, I'm gonna want to go test it on the track. Let's put some power on it and see what happens. Oh, look at that, it's a real sweetie. And let's go back. Nice and quiet. All that's left to do is put the shell on it. That goes in nice and easy. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon. Just an extra bonus features for you guys that stayed with me till the end. I wanted to show off my Frisco engine. It's a GP38. It's one of the newer Atlas, and it's got really fine detail throughout. For example, all the handrails, they've been meticulously painted to match the Frisco engine, and also number boards are done, and the snow plow is on. So that is a real sweetie. I never run it, so it was good to get it out of the box and run it today. Since I've got some extra time, I'm going to read to you from the April 1970 model Railroader. It features a guide that hand carves locomotives. That is incredible. An ad for MRC. I have one of these RSD 15s. I like them. They're good. Marklin of Sweden. They still to this day they have a YouTube channel. Check them out. I get some really good ideas from them. Mini tricks for N scale. They always have nice ads for brass. Gem models. I don't see too many for sale, so it's hard to value them. But what they are is a brass shell over a Bachmann drive, and or maybe an Atlas drive for the steam engines. And I have one. I really like it, although it's really tough to value them. They made track plans, and these are can still be used today. They're still valuable. This article involves a lot of scratch building of his own parts, so that's a really good article to read for me, because I'm starting to do that more and more. Some locomotives do not have parts available, so I have to make my own parts. This will happen where you have to make your own parts, so it's good to get other people's perspective on this subject. See, now I have a few engines with no cabs or cab parts missing. This guy's going to teach me how to make my own cabs. A lot of it is scratch built. Chicago and Northwestern consolidation drawings. That's good to know. If you have an engine that, if you're modeling CNNW, you can closely match the engine to the prototype. It's good to have pictures on both sides too. This guy made his own locomotives out of wood. That sounds like a lot of work, but a lot of fun at the same time. This B&O streamliner was never made. It was proposed, so he made that from the drawing of the proposal. It takes a lot of parts to make a steam engine. Atlas books, they have a clear track to N-gauge fun. I've got that book. It inspired me to make my small Christmas layout. That's a good book to get.